Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a last-minute addition to this panel, so you're going to have to live with me. I was just added this morning, actually, I think, maybe last night, because Naresh Fernandes was not able to make it with all the flight cancellations. I'm no expert on Mumbai. He is an expert, but we'll do the best we can. And of course, you have the delightful Paul Fernandes and Rahul here with us. Rahul Mehrotra was born in Mumbai and then lived in various other places. Paul and he worked together in Mumbai, so that is their connection to the city. It's a city that has generated many dreams, many books, many films, and I think this delightful, sparkling book will be added to that whole treasure house of art and literature on Mumbai. So to begin with, let me ask both of you, you don't live in Bombay any longer, so why did you choose to write a book about it?
Well, I came...
Maybe higher this way.
I first came to Bombay somewhere around about in 1970, when, you know, I came from this very sleepy town of Bangalore when nothing happened, and stepped into this buzzing city of Bombay where there was not a moment where something didn't happen. So that's what really made me want to look around and learn more about that city, and drawing was the best way to do that. So,
when I first proposed this book to the Bangalore Lit Fest, they all said, Paul's doing a book on Bombay. Really? Because Paul, of course, as we all know, is an institution in terms of documenting Bangalore. We've all grown up with Paul's wonderful books on Bangalore, Swingin' in the 70s, and then more recently, of course, you had, what was it called? Bangalore, Great Bangalore Morph, right? Which was at the Lit Fest 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
That's right.
And you were there too.
Yes. And there were earlier books on Bangalore as well.
Yeah,
the one with the
with
musicians, with Peter Colasso, and many others. So Rahul, tell us, why this book on Mumbai? Where do you live now?
I live in California. It's a world away, but I'm here, right? Growing up in India, you look upon Bombay as, if you can make it there, you can do anything. And that's the place of endless possibilities, right? So Paul went there. Paul and I used to work together in Baroda, and then he just deserted me. He went away to Bombay. So I quit my job and I said, I'm going back to Bombay. I'm going to Bombay too. And I landed up there. And Bombay has a charm, you know. Everyone pretends to be very hard-hearted and very, very transactional. And yet they are very soft. I mean, you know, the same person who's going to push you out of the way to get into the bus, that same person will put their hand out and pull you into the bus as well. And that's, you know, once you live in Bombay, and you get tired of it, and you get your pockets picked, and you meet some very kind people, you fall in love with that city. And you will never fall out of love with that city. That love will stay with you forever. That's why the book is here.
In fact, that image of a hand helping someone to get on the train, I think, to me, that's very emblematic of Bombay.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, everyone knows you can't be late for work. It's a very professional city. You have to be on time. And it doesn't matter who you are. We're going to help you get on the train and get there, because we all need to get there on time.
Yes, absolutely.
So in my case, my palette of color changed going from Bangalore to Bombay, simply because Bangalore has this palette of green. And Bombay suddenly has this expanse of blue, you know, and you look out into the sea, into the horizon, you see every shade of blue. And then you shift your gaze a little bit, and you're drowned in the sea of every other color of humanity milling around you. And that's what took us there to draw in. Right?
Yeah. Can we show you a short film on,
Sure.
on what we, this is our ode, our sonnet to Mumbai, right? It should come on in a minute, right?
Just give us a minute. I think the visuals are important on this.
Let's move on. Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep talking meanwhile.
Yeah.
Yes. So, how did this collaboration work between the two of you? Did each of you discuss tweaks in each other's work, or did Paul generate the images first and then the text, or the text? How did it work?
Well, you know, I think it started 45 years ago when somebody from the Taj in Bombay asked me to do a few drawings to show to their guests to walk around that beautiful, busy area of Colaba. And while it seemed a beautiful idea, nothing happened for 45 years till we met and said, well, we are close to our retirement now. Let's get back to that lovely project. And
Okay, I think the film is working now. Okay. Can you hear?
We'll just see the pictures. This is Mumbai as we know and love it, right? Forget the words. This is Mumbai for us.
Navy Nagar and the Afghan church in Colaba.
Yes.
buzzing stores, historic train stations, iconic movie halls, crowded cafes, and Art Deco buildings in one never-ending thread of many that weave their way through the fact.
The Art Deco buildings, in fact, the architecture of Mumbai is quite remarkable.
Yes, yes. And you know, you walk past those buildings every day, and there's a crowd, and you're going to work or you're going somewhere and getting pushed around. And then the sun breaks out from the clouds somewhere, and you see this beautiful top something. I mean, that Paul has drawn.
What's interesting is when you walk in that city, everything you think you're familiar with changes the next time you see it. And what you think you know, you don't know at all. Simply because the whole situation changes so fast every day. So it's a learning, and it's a surprise every time you go through it.
We were starting to say about the creative process.
Yes. So Paul has this huge collection of drawings and places that he has drawn in Mumbai and places that we have been and other places. And it was, I don't know, we were talking one day, and then it started off, and I said, I can do something here. And he said, okay. And the way this has worked for us is Paul has this beautiful drawing. I write a little something and put him to work. And he draws 100 other pictures. And then he says, he messes with the writing then.
But what's been interesting is working away from the subject you're trying to work with.
Yeah.
You know, when you are in Bombay, for me at least,
Yeah.
I find it's impossible to focus on a drawing because there's just too much to contend with.
Yeah.
But when you take those thoughts and come back to sleepy old Bangalore, you're able to focus on what you're looking at in Bombay.
Yeah.
And
So
so-
we work in isolation, separated by time and space, and then we come together and we mess with each other's work. And that's how it's been going. Yeah.
Unlike some of Paul's other books, I found there's a lot of text in this book, and there's also kind of plot lines and stories that you can follow continuously. There's a sort of continuous thread. It's not just vignettes, you know, it's often. So could you, I mean, we just heard them speak about the pav bhaji walas, but could you speak about all the different professions and trades that you came across and felt you wanted to write about?
Yeah.
And how can one do that without stereotyping? You know, because you always run the risk of doing that, right?
Yes, it's so true. It's so true. We did not, the first thing was we were not going to stereotype people. And for us, that was not optional. So we started by looking at people and saying, okay, this is a pav bhaji wala, but what else could he be, right? He could be something else, right? Or this is a dabba wala. Could be something else. They're people. Their lives are hidden in plain sight, right? They're right there. Can I read a little?
Yes, we would love you to read something.
I'd like to read a very short paragraph. Very short. You know, this is about a pani puri wala, right? It says, fate had been kind. Who would have thought that he would become so famous for his pani puri and ragda patties? He had come to Bombay to join the film industry, to become an actor, a playback singer. But the days of pencil-thin mustaches and well-groomed looks were long over. Mohammad Rafi ruled the playback airwaves with Mukesh and Manna Dey. Even Kishore Kumar had stopped imitating Saigal. Romantic superstars like Rajesh Khanna were already beginning to make place for angry young men like Vinod Khanna and Amitabh Bachchan. So it's a pani puri wala for us. We don't even look at him. We just eat the pani puri. But this man could have. So that is what to address the stereotyping.
So there's been good stereotyping also.
Yeah.
Where, you know, there's a great love that the stories show to these people, otherwise you wouldn't meet or know.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a set of slides that have no. Excuse me. It has no sound. We put together a set of slides that show that old lady crossing the street. You look at her and say, yes, there's an old lady crossing the street, but you know, 30 years ago, she was this bright young woman who came to Bombay and, you know, maybe even had a life and worked in some company. And you have to be able to see beyond that, right? Film star, aspiring film star, he has to get his suit cleaned. There's an old lady crossing the street, probably married to a Navy person. I don't know, whatever, right? This is all fiction, but it's possible, right? This is your dabbawala. I mean, or this is someone living in a chali at one time. No, now his wife is no more, but she was there, beautiful. And extra on the movie set also serves chai and spills chai and loses his job. So Parsi on the very, very well-maintained scooter is also sitting in his sadra at home, right? These are all human beings. This was the whole idea that did not want to create stereotypes.
So while it talked of just a few people in this book, you know, the history of that city has to be appreciated. It's right from the Marathas, the Mughals, the Portuguese, the Parsis, the Arabs, and 200 years of the British. And now every single possible Indian represented there in all their glory. So that's what the book tries to get together and enjoy.
So it really is a microcosm of the country
It is.
within the city.
Yes.
Bombay's changed a great deal since you lived there. What did you find has remained the same, and what's changed? And was that a challenge when you were writing the book, or working on the book?
Well, one thing you realize is that everything must change. Even the strong Portuguese forts and the Maratha forts must change. And when they change, something about you changes also, because what you're familiar with is gone away. And part of you feels that's less of a home to me, and maybe you shift away because something changes in your city. So
What did you find that had changed? Were there shops
every
that
time
you
we go
looked
there, every time I go there, something has changed. And something new has replaced it. And so you feel less and less engaged with that area.
It's funny to say it, but sometimes when a shop goes away, it's quite depressing, one that you went to all the time.
So if, there are a couple of restaurants around the fort. If they change, I don't know what I'll do.
Yes. So you go, one of the restaurants we used to go to, and we went into it maybe a couple of years ago, and it came out, and Paul looked at me, and he says, "You see, the tree is gone." And then I realized, my goodness, there used to be this great big tree, and it cast this beautiful shade, and it's gone. They use it for parking space.
Trees, houses, all of that.
Well, yes. And, things have changed in Mumbai. People told us, "You're nuts. Bombay is not the same. You don't know it." And we walked the 1 mile marker that marks the location of 1 mile away from Bombay. It's still there. There is a theater called the Edwards Theater, which was the first theater there. It's still there. Not all the buildings, but the buildings are there. They just used to be great big buildings. Now they're small buildings because there are these enormous towers around them. But the buildings are there. You have to walk. SUVs don't go in, right? Everything is there. It's hidden in plain sight. Some part of it is there. Some part, not all.
So when you say you have to walk, this is about a bus ride.
Yes.
Did you all take the bus or did you all walk?
Well, you get tired of walking. There's always that double-decker bus to go up and sit in that front seat.
Yeah.
And you see Bombay so beautifully from up there. But in that bus, you see people who know and love the city. You see people who don't know the city at all. And this book sort of provides that person with a very simple introduction to this complex city. And then you have a new generation of youngsters who have not known Bombay of those days. Mm-hmm. And there's this lovely concept, a notion that I love thinking about, which is called anticipated nostalgia, where you take something from the past which you've loved and enjoyed, something your parents have enjoyed, and just project it into the future, so that when you do come there, you love it again and relive it.
And the root of the word nostalgia is actually home. So, that homecoming, coming back to what makes you feel grounded, is very much part of it.
Yes. May I read a little excerpt about the changing part of Bombay?
Please.
Yes. So this is about somebody who comes home to Mumbai after many years abroad, let's say, okay? Uh, so the drive to his grandma's house had been bewildering and chaotic. The Bombay he had left behind had now become Mumbai. The streets, the buildings, the flyovers, everything had changed. He did not know when the BKC poured into the Eastern Freeway, merged into P. de Mello Road, became Shahid Bhagat Singh Marg, and passed Lion Gate. He only caught a fleeting glimpse of Crawford Market and VT, now CSMT. It loomed up out of nowhere, only to melt away before he could really see it. And this is what has happened to Mumbai. All those markers are there, they're just not so noticeable, but they're there.
So every walk, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Every walk I do in Bombay is, has this underlying bit of humor that comes with me. And everything I look at is humorous and provides a smile all the time.
Well, I think it's also a disposition, Paul. If you decide to look on the brighter side, as you do, then life can be good. I think you have another short film to show.
Yes, well, we put together a set of pictures that basically run through the drawings that started this book, right? So each story started with a key drawing that Paul had done, and here they are. It just loops through, and you can see that building is there. You just will miss it if you're in the bus, because there's so much else going on.
And humor in Bombay is like the ocean that's next to it, vast. And you have every possible kind of humor to contend with when you're looking at Bombay. Right from simple slapstick, childlike humor, to the most difficult satire you can want to think of. Yeah. So it's a fantastic experience, just walking that city, looking for happy things.
And when you ride the bus, when you ride the bus, you get a glimpse of something. Bus is moving, you get a glimpse, you move on. Then when you come back to that same place and you walk around, that's when you see that thing. That's the walking aspect of our bus. There's a couple of million people coming from the north to the south every day. They travel this route every day. This bus has been running for more than 50 years.
Wow.
Yes, it's just still there.
Well,
it's become electric.
Well, movement is such a big part of cities, I mean, there's that Ellington song, I believe it's Ellington, Take the A Train. Yes. So, in a way, this is, did you have that in mind?
Wow, it's always moving, and we move with it. And just grow with it.
So, I think we have time for some questions.
Okay.
I just want to say that there are some sketches in the windows. Paul has placed some of the sketches from the illustrations from the book in the windows.
I wanted to bring my studio here, but they said no.
So you just see how beautiful these drawings are.
Yeah, the question that I wanted to ask.
Question.
Yes. The name of the book is Colaba to Bandra. I understand going from the core to suburb, south to north. Have you thought of what would be different sketches had it been a Bandra to Colaba?
Well, I'd turn the book upside down and look at it the other way around. But I always lived in Colaba and took the bus to Bandra each time and came back to Colaba. So that was my route.
I lived in Mahim and went to Colaba, but I lost the fight. So it's called Colaba to Bandra. That's all. That's
There's
Yes,
a
sir.
question back there. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, again, nostalgia. I was ex-Navy and then I moved to Bangalore for a job and now I've become a Bangalorean. I used to love this Irani bun maska and chai. So I want to know, is it still available? Do you still get it in Bombay?
Very much. Very much. You know, just to answer your question a little further, I just finished some work with the Navy in Bombay, and you have bun maska there in their offices too.
And you have you have portrayed the Irani cafes.
Oh, a much loved drawing. Each time I draw those places, I get very involved with them. You can ask Anita, who knows them well.
There was a question at the back.
I wanted to know if Indian cities were more walkable, would that help preserve them better?
Oh, yeah.
That's one question. Can I ask you the second one also in part of it? Yeah. There's a lot of nostalgia, of course, and that, I mean, Bangalore is steeped in nostalgia. So the younger generation doesn't seem to be really too bothered about it. And I wonder whether there is any point in, not clinging, but looking for markers of the past, or is that something that you think is important?
I really do believe that any young person who wants to make the city a beautiful place has to know what's happened in the past and take parts of what's good from the past with them as they go forward. So nostalgia is important.
You have to not mourn the loss. You have to celebrate the memory, right? If you start mourning the loss of something, it's going to be a miserable life, right? You have to celebrate what went before.
I do have many young people who come to our gallery of drawing of Bangalore, and a lot of them are quite surprised to see how their parents went about life in this very laid-back fashion 50 years ago. And they're happy. They want to also do something for themselves.
Thank you. And the first part, please, about walking.
Cities more walkable.
Yeah, it's a walking city is a beautiful city. And if we can provide walking to everybody, it makes it then it's a beautiful city in every other way too.
There's another question here and in the back.
Hi, Paul and Rahul. I came to Bombay as a 3-year-old in 1960. So I go back 65 years of history with Bombay. Out of that 65 years history, I have got a 40-year history in Bangalore. I shifted 25 years after being in Bombay. But Bombay just beats in my heart, okay? And I'm a Colaba boy, Paul.
Wow.
And to answer the lady here, I walked from Colaba to college in Churchgate every day.
Wow.
I never took the bus.
Yeah.
But then I would take the 123 and go right up to the Kamala Nehru Park, to the little old shoe up there in Hanging Gardens. Those of you who know Mumbai. And then we would take the 123 back home to Colaba. And then we would say, no, let's not get off here. Let's go on to RC Church.
Yeah.
And we would end in the Navy Nagar and then walk back home again. So as you said, Paul, it's a walking city.
It is.
The second thing is that Mumbai lives in you. And anytime you go back, I mean, it drapes you with so many layers.
Yes.
The moment you land at the airport, you wonder whether things are the same. But as you travel, you see everything. I mean, 50% has changed, 50% is still the same.
Okay, thank
and
you,
I don't
sir.
think, and Bombay lives in you. It's not that only you live in Bombay.
I think you need to write about a travelogue about
Thank you.
Bombay. Do we have time for one last question?
If I can just
One
say one
last
more sentence,
question.
If I can say one more sentence.
No, sir, please give
Okay.
someone else a chance
Okay,
to ask
just
a
one
question.
sentence. The sentence is that
Listen at the back.
it's great that you have carried Bombay over, the next generation will love to read about it, and they won't mourn.
Thank you. So a question, please. A quick, brief question. Right there.
Yeah, I grew up in Bombay. First 20 years of my life I spent there. And as the gentleman said, it lives in you. And then the next 20 years, my professional life was spent here. So I maintained contact. And recently, in fact, last week, I went from CSTM, or what used to be VT station. My father used to work across in Times of India.
Your question,
Coming to the
sir.
question. And I saw the buildings, right? And what you said, some of the buildings actually have obviously dilapidated. For example, the printing presses used to run in the Times of India office, they no longer do. But what I realized is, while we look at nostalgia, some of the things have gotten better, but do you think that because of the awareness of architectural heritage, especially with the Victoria Ensemble and Art Deco, so I personally felt, looking back at my childhood, some of the lettering, some of the facades, some of the restorations, I think people have, thanks to this nostalgia, people have taken a greater interest. And actually, it's much better than what I remember maybe sometime in my childhood, when they were more dilapidated.
Yes, the Opera House has been restored. You know, I used to look at it and think, can't we restore this beautiful Opera House?
You can also climb to the top of the steeple, was it, or a turret in VT Station. And what an experience that is. Do so.
A closing statement, Rahul?
Thank you very much for coming. This is a labor of love. I hope you like it. Yeah, thank you.
And to thank Pratiti for just helping us at the last minute, when otherwise I would have talked to Rahul and we've gotten nowhere.
I would just like to say that I think this beautiful book, which is going to be available for signing in the bookshop, I think it's going to be added to the treasure house of books by Naresh Fernandes, Suketu Mehta, a whole host of other wonderful writers. And I think it documents the city so beautifully, both visually and in the text. So I hope you'll take a look at it and take a look also at the sketches which are in the windows. Thank you all for coming.